Morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Well. Baseball Tigers, what a bounce back that was. My goodness gracious. LSU got up early and they just rolled Florida yesterday in Gainesville. Whew. 16-4 was your final in that one. Couple of things about the game. The game itself and then some big picture stuff. Football practice yesterday. LSU had their second practice of spring. Pels lost yesterday to the Spurs. They blew it. And now they got to play a second of a back-to-back. It's kind of my concern. But anyway. So let's talk about the baseball offense before we talk about pitching, defense, all that stuff. And Jay Johnson did make some notable changes. They're facing a righty, so Joe Bear was back in the lineup at DH, but they switched Thompson and Doty. So Doty went to short, and Thompson played second. And LSU played an error-free game. Doty had 3 assists at short, so all 3 balls that were hit to him, he made the play. Thompson had a little bit of a quiet night at second base, but in large part that was because Mikhail Hilliard was really good, struck out 7 through 5 2/3. But so defensively it worked. Offensively, they switched the lineup up a bit as well. They led off with Doty, went Doty, Morgan, Cruz in the 3-hole, then Barry batting cleanup. I think the thing yesterday that was most important on the field at the beginning was Brandon Sprode. Y'all saw if you watched the game, he could throw upper. I mean, he was throwing 97, 98. He could not locate a breaking pitch, an off-speed pitch. He just couldn't throw it for a strike. So LSU's approach was perfect. It was get up there and sit dead red fastball, and if it's a breaking pitch, do not swing. And they didn't. And so I love Doty taking a walk to open the game, and then Morgan was sitting fastball and crushed one over the right field fence, 2-0, just like that. And all of a sudden you're into it, you know. And then they came back into, same approach. Sproat threw 2 1/3 at 65 pitches. He threw 29 pitches in the first inning. That's the approach offensively that I thought we would see from this team all year and haven't. My hope is that this is what the coaches have been teaching and preaching, and that it's finally starting to marinate. Like it's starting to settle in. So the approach last night I thought was awesome. A lot of guys, when you put up 16 runs, a lot of guys had big games. The homer that Dylan Cruz hit he just murdered the baseball. I mean, and it was opposite field off the end of the bat. I mean, it was incredible. Anyway, so take that back. That wasn't the one that went opposite field at the end of the bat. That was a fly out. I think about Barry that went opposite field off the end of the bat and nearly left the yard. But the homer by Cruz was just crushed. Let's see. Joe Bear and Dugas went back-to-back homers to blow it open. Just a great night. Mikhail Hilliard, I wish we could see that version of Mikhail every time he pitches. We just don't. But that ump yesterday, if you watched the game, was really pinching the pitchers, both of them. He was not giving them marginal pitches on the corners. So he had to kind of paint the black, and he did. When McHale gets in trouble, it's when his breaking ball don't break, and his fastball eats too much of the plate, and until he ran out of gas there at the end, he threw 100 pitches until he ran out of gas there at the end. He he did that and did that really well. And when he does that, he can get SEC hitters out. The problem is when you throw 86 and you miss your spots. Well, 86 over the plate. Good hitters are going to crush it. And then Paul Gervais came in and pitched 2 1/3. So I would like to point out, because there were many people, and I'm going to say some good mornings here. There were many people on Wednesday that questioned why Jay Johnson would take Paul Gervais out of the game against Louisiana Tech whenever he was cruising. And I told you then, and I will reiterate it now, that is why you don't leave Paul Gervais in when he's got 40 pitches on a Wednesday against Louisiana Tech, because you would much rather Paul Gervais be able to close out a game on a Saturday in Gainesville than on a Wednesday night against Louisiana Tech. Yes, of course, you want to win the game. You always play to win the game, of course. Yes, all that sort of stuff. But you have to be smart. And Paul Gervais is one of the arms you're really counting on. He gives you a different arm slot, a different angle from a 6'10 guy. And I'd much rather have him on Saturdays, closing out a game against Florida, than on a Wednesday, burning him against Tech. Okay. All right, let's say some good mornings, get your thoughts, answer some questions. Here we go. If Facebook like the page, share the post, YouTube, smash that like button. Thank you all so much for being here. Jeff McKithen, good morning. Thavanka De Silva from Sri Lanka, good morning. David Hawes, Jonathan Martin, Charlie Gale, Matt Godwin, Seth Lemoyne, Kelly Gross, Tony Williams, Jacob Willis, good morning. Ryan Dixon, we backball, knew we had the right coach. We going to Omaha, LSU fans today. I do kind of want to go through my Twitter from Friday and just like start retweeting and calling out people who were just crapping on Jay Johnson, or even on Facebook comments as well. I don't think yesterday solved every issue that LSU has, but the thing I'll tell you that for me was the most encouraging, more so than the hits or Mikhail Hilliard or any of this. The thing that was most encouraging, if you were watching that game, it sounded like an LSU home game. And I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the players in the dugout. From literally the first AB with when Cade Doty walked to open the game, every time Sproat threw a ball, you'd hear this like, like these chants in the dugout. Every time LSU scored a run, you'd hear this, ooh, so like it was almost like watching a softball game. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. Softball has their chants, like in the dugout. That's what it felt like watching that game last night. The energy in LSU's dugout, you would have thought they had beaten everybody 16-4 all year. Not a team that had gotten pummeled 7-2 on Friday and had lost 4 or 5. I don't know what Jay Johnson told him. I don't know if it was a players only meeting. I did ask around a little bit last night trying to figure out, what happened. And best I got is, what I got from some people there was that this has been in the works for a while, and we've been on the verge, and you're going to start to see this regularly now. I'm like, okay. So, the energy around the dugout yesterday was awesome. That instills belief and hope and puts pressure on the other team and all that sort of stuff. Matt Godwin, best stat line was 0 in the error column. Sure, but Matt, if you score 16 runs, I don't care if you commit 2 errors. You know what I mean? Like, the bigger thing is we focus so much on the bad play, on defensive play on Friday, and it has been bad, no doubt. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but you had 2 base hits on Friday. You had 2 hits. Like, this team is never going to be, this team this year is not going to be a dominant pitching staff this year. They just don't have the arms to be that. They can be cleaner defensively, I agree. But, I mean, we've talked about that a bunch. But they got to hit. Like, that's, this team's strength is you got 4 big leaguers in your lineup. And that doesn't even include the dude that led your team in RBI last year. Like, you got to hit. So the fact that they went out and hit yesterday was the most encouraging thing. Because if this team's going to win, they got to hit. Patrick Cason, good morning. Greg Phillips, good morning. Last night was an example of what LSU baseball can do against strong competition when pitching and defense do their part. Again, sure, but you scored 16 runs. Like, you scored 16 runs on 13 hits. You had 2 hits the night before. Like, that's the thing everybody's going to miss because we focus so much on pitching and errors and all that sort of stuff. And it's been an issue, no doubt. But, like, I'm not saying you're going to score 16 runs every time out, but you got to hit the baseball. Matt Godwin, does Gervais get a chance to start or does he stay in the bullpen? He's dealing lately. I like him in that role he's in for exact reason you saw yesterday. He's a guy that can give you long relief, and if you don't have a starter that's going to get you 7, I can get my starter to get me through 5, and Gervais can get me 3, right? or get me home, you know. So I like him in that role that he's in there. In a high leverage situation where he can come in when you have a lead. Because it got kind of tense at that point. You know, Florida had put up a 4 spot. Gervais came in and got out of the inning, and then just put out the fire. So I like that. Michael Cook, good morning. Kirk Taylor, what's up? Belt high balls weren't strikes. He that ump yesterday, I would say he squeezed the pitchers more so on the corners. But yes, he had a tight zone. You don't see that often in college. You don't often see that in college baseball. But at least he called it evenly and consistently. Normal guy, hello. Trivia Carter, what's up? Jerry DeLucky, good morning. Joey Vincent, Tim Gotro, Gregory Carter, Pabler 15, what's up? Fonzarelli, I kind of like the lineup from last night. Fonz, I like it when they score 16 runs too. I'd go with that. But the thing worth keeping in mind now, and by the way, so neither team has a Sunday guy. Like, neither team has a stated Sunday pitcher. So I don't know who Florida is going to throw today. Let me see if I can find it on their Twitter. But I'll tell you something. On Friday they DH'd Bianco because Joe Bear has really not been good against left-handed pitching. And Bianco didn't do well. No word. Okay. So because they were facing the righty and Sproat yesterday, Joe Bear was back in the lineup, and Joe Bear hit his homer off when Sproat came out. They brought the lefty in, and Joe Bear hit his homer off the lefty. So I may be inclined, even if Florida throws a lefty today, to DH Joe Bear, because I don't think you have a great right-handed bat option on the bench. I mean, your right-handed bats, if you're looking for a right-handed DH, Bianco, Cranford, guess you could DH Travinsky. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a great option. There isn't the no doubt, like, that's your right-handed bat sitting on the bench, put him in the game. I mean, they like Pearson, they like Stevenson, obviously, but these are left-handed bats. So, anyway, I'll be curious to see who goes today. Let's see, D. It's nuts. Larry Gardner, what's up? All right, Brandon, it's amazing what happens when they play air-free and don't strike out 15 times. That's the potential of this team. I'm telling you, the energy in the dugout, the approach at the plate, willingness to be patient in their approach, willingness to take a walk. Yes, it was very encouraging. Taz, what's up, man? Looking at Dennis Allen sideways with this Sorensen signing. Dude can't cover a bed. He was toast bread last year over and over again. So, if y'all missed it on Friday, the Saints signed Daniel Sorensen from the Chiefs. I think that's a look. He's not going to play safety on this team, Taz. I think that's an indicator that PJ Williams' time in New Orleans is done. So Sorensen is probably your dime back and a special teamer. It's a 1-year deal. That's likely what that means. Is PJ has a bigger number in mind than they were willing to pay, so they went and got his replacement. That's very likely what that is. Again, backup safety in case if someone goes down, you need him. But again, I'm good with him as a dime back. So let's see. Seven RBI from the top 5 hitters last night versus 1 on Friday. That has to be the biggest difference with the wins and losses. Bingo. I mean, again, we can talk about pitching, we can talk about defense and all that stuff. But the thing we've talked about with this team is they're going to hit. They got to hit, and they did last night. I mean, listen, watching them drop pop-ups on Friday was disgusting. I'm with you. The defense is atrocious. I spent Friday night sitting there going through the worst defensive the fielding percentages in recorded history for LSU all the way back to 1977. So, I'm with you on how bad the defense has been. I'm with you. And I think they can and will be better than that. I'm not saying they're ever going to be an elite defense this year. I think they're better when Milazzo's back, obviously. I hope the switch with Doty and Thompson works out. They would obviously be better with Barry DHing and someone who's a better defensive option at third. Maybe Merrifield, if that's where they want to go. Either way. But how much do you value that defense? But really what you need, but we know this team's going to hit or has hitters. They got to hit. All right. Dave Vinder, Dugas heating up. Good to see. Trivia. Let's see. Taz, hope PJ's not the odd man out over at Sorensen. PJ's solid, makes good plays, very good dime back. He's likely that he wants to. I'm certain that's what it is. PJ wants too much money. They're not going to re-sign him, so Sorensen's replacing him. Merritt Mathern, good morning. Cortland, I love Hilliard. Don't even think that was his best curve last night. It was early in the game, no doubt. I mean, he threw 100 pitches. He was tired by the end. He was hanging his breaking balls when they started to smash him, but on the 6th. But he was good last night. Let's see. The game Wednesday night, who would have thought since Raiselman would have come in throwing 10 out of 12 pitches for balls? Yeah. So today, I don't know if Jay has said who's going to start yet today, and I haven't asked. My guess is they start either Taylor or Dutton. I'd like to see him start Taylor. Sorry, y'all, I'm looking to see if he announced yet. He hasn't announced yet, at least not that I've seen. So, okay, so I would start Taylor today, and then knowing you've got Taylor, and then Raiselman, Fontenot, Dutton if you need him. You've got everybody. Riley Cooper if you need a lefty. I mean, you've got basically everybody at your disposal today, except for Money, Hilliard, and Gervais. I mean, you got everybody. Go piece it together. Give Taylor the ball. If he's rolling, stick with him. As soon as he gets in trouble, go to the next guy. I think you have enough to get through it today if your offense shows up. And remember, Florida's in a similar position. Florida does not have a stated Sunday starter. So go win this game. Brant Roban, morning Scone. You think certain switch arounds Johnson did was the difference maker? Maybe players finally said it's enough, we're better than this. The defensive changes helped. Doty was really good at shooting. He made some tough plays too. I mean, Doty made one pick backhanded in the hole and threw it across the diamond. I mean, it was a beautiful play. It's kind of play that Thompson struggled with. So yeah, I mean, Jay said after the game they're going to stick with that defensive line, and they should. So yes, I mean the changes that'll make you better moving forward, obviously, are when Milazzo's back behind the plate. I mean, you saw it again last night. I hate to keep I don't like calling out players. Just it's still college baseball, and they're still amateurs, and most of these guys are never going to play in the pros. But McManus had a pass ball last night, and it allowed a runner to go from first to second, and then the batter doubled, and maybe the runner would have scored from first on the double, but with Cruz in center, that's no guarantee. So McManus allowing the pass ball, runner gets a second, double, run comes home. I mean, again, maybe he would have scored from first, maybe, but maybe it's a situation where it's second and third with 2 outs, and you get the next guy, and you're out of the inning without any damage. Like, that's the value of having someone behind the plate. Especially when you're talking about Mikhail Hilliard, who throws that breaking ball, when you're confident that your catcher's gonna block it up, and you can bury a breaking ball, you can bury a 12-6. You can't do it when you don't trust your catcher. So they're going to be better defensively when Milazzo's back. And the only other thing would be with Barry, if they decide to DH him, which clearly Jay's not there yet for all the reasons I told you all season long. And hopefully Barry just keeps getting better. And Barry made a really nice play yesterday, y'all. I don't know if y'all were watching, but early in the game, there was a ball down the third base line. He nabbed it, made a nice play, throwing it across the diamond. I mean, he made a nice play. So anyway, we'll see. Kirk, let's see. Hilliard is literally your best option to start now. He has to be in the rotation. There's only money that's better. Hilliard, veteran, stable on the bump. He proved that last year. You see, Kirk, I don't agree. Hilliard was great last night. He was. But he's been around for 5 years. And he's been massively inconsistent since his freshman year. I mean, last week, Hilliard was not good. Hilliard started last week, was not good. So, he was good last night. I mean, the thing that I would say that I would agree is it breaks up, because if you go Money, Taylor, Dutton, just say whatever, I'm just throwing it out there. You have 3 starters that are all the same guy. Stock righties, low mid-90s. I mean, they're all the same guy. So when you throw Hilliard out there, at least you get, what I really liked about yesterday was, so here's Hilliard, 6 foot tall, 86, 88 with his fastball, big looping curveball. You take Hilliard out, and then here comes Gervais. 6'10", whip-like arm action, different slot, different pitcher altogether. That's how you keep hitters off balance, changing their eye level, changing the release point. That's good. That's why you're seeing Riley Cooper pitch so much, because he's the only lefty they got. I mean, so today, I would not be surprised if you see Grant Taylor start, and then they go from Taylor to Cooper, so you get a lefty in there, to Razelman, so here comes righty throwing 98, you know what I mean? To change it up, that's an option. So, Brian, Sarah Thomas, good morning. Rode Yule, good morning. Lawrence Burley, Derek Taylor, Chris 2-1 Duke, good morning. Let's steal the series. Ain't no stealing the series, dog. I mean, that's you didn't steal a game yesterday, dog. You whipped their behind. You won the game. You can go win the series. Let's see. I don't know who Florida's throwing today. Brian Broom, what do you think about Memphis and Penny Hardaway? One of the most obvious things ever. I'm surprised only because it's Penny and a bunch of former NBA guys on his bench. Why wouldn't you just use NIL? But the least surprising thing ever. Ron Ritchie, what's good? Brant, Florida went deep into their bullpen. Maybe we have an edge on pitching since we had 2 or 3 guys. Maybe Brant, but none of the guys Florida threw yesterday actually really extended. For example, Manning, who came out of the bullpen first through 40 pitches, but by that point you were up 16 or what? I mean, 16. It just didn't matter. Nesbitt, Abner, Hartman, and Finvold. The middle 2 guys could come back today if they needed them. I think Finvold was just, this guy's got a 16 ERA. He was just in there to get outs at the end. Those aren't guys that they're going to count on. So, but yeah, they did have to use a lot. I mean, they had to throw 200 pitches yesterday. They did. Let's see. As always, shout out to Brock, Yellow Badgers Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Their after-hours clinic, of course, always open on weekends. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tyler Cooley, morning, Matt. How about this rebound win yesterday? They should start Taylor today, see how many they can get out of him. Yeah, look, the last 2 weeks, we've seen Taylor give you, I think, 4 innings and 3 innings, respectively. I would start Grant Taylor today and see if he can get you off to a good start. See if he can get you 9 or 12 outs, and then hand it to Riley Cooper, then hand it to Razelman, then hand it to Fontenot. I think that would be a great approach today if it could work out. Connor O'Neill, let's all point life at Ole Miss. You can't have Lane Kiffin throw out the first pitch with a golf ball, then lose the next 2 games by a combined 22-4. I don't know, Connor, if I'm necessarily laughing at Ole Miss or if I'm impressed by Tennessee. I don't know if y'all see what Connor's referring to there is that Tennessee has gone down to Oxford and has just whipped number 1 Ole Miss in 2 games. Tennessee's putting everybody on alert this weekend, for sure. Michael Castello, morning, Scone. Tigers played great. I'm most impressed with the defense played clean baseball. Jerry, will Gervais be available today? Let me see. Gervais threw 33 pitches. I don't think he'd come back. If it was the postseason, you could probably get an inning out of him. I don't think you're going to run him out there today, no. I guess he could. I mean, I don't think they will, but I guess you could if you need him to face a batter or something like that, but you're not going to ask him to extend after throwing 33 yesterday. Let's see, Brandon, Tennessee is probably going to play in the finals in Omaha this year. They're dominating everybody except the one game in Houston against Texas. They're impressive, man. Tyler Cooley, thoughts of moving Cade to shortstop, Thompson to second. It worked. I loved it. I mean, Cade can obviously play the left side of the infield. I mean, there was some thought of playing him at third this year. So, yes, I'm for it. Anything that shakes up what has not been working so far. Dave, what do you think about Dutton being the Sunday starter? He's been pretty much lights out. Yeah, Dave, I mean, like we talked about, I think it's either Taylor or Dutton, a couple of freshmen from Alabama, one of those. I think Taylor's probably that guy, though, today. We'll see, though. I'm good with either, but I think it'll be Taylor. Brian Penton, morning from Rock Springs, Wyoming. Joseph Armato, Rob Boudreaux. Don't know how many runs we give up if we have more runs than them. Oh, don't care how many runs you give. So yeah, that was the point I was making. Like, I know people are excited about Hilliard yesterday and the defense, and should be, because those have been bugaboos. But again, on Friday, you had 2 hits. You had 2 hits on Friday. 2. You got to hit. This team has to hit the baseball. If they're going to win, they just have to hit the baseball. And so that was awesome last night to see that offensive outburst. I'm not saying you need to go score 16, but on a given weekend, even if you score half of that, you put 8 up, you're going to win most games in the SEC. Let's see. Brandon, talk about the play at third with Doty. Yeah, so if you missed it, Doty tried to stretch a double into a triple. The ball beat him there from the outfield, and the third baseman, the ball popped out of his glove. Like, he made the tag, and the ball popped out of his glove. They reviewed it and still ruled him out. I think the best I can come up with is Doty hit the glove. So when Doty was coming up, he was doing this, like, safe, and he hit the glove. So maybe they ruled Doty dislodged the ball. Y'all remember? Well, I hate to bring this up, but if you remember back in was it 3 or 4? Well, it was the ALCS with the Yankees and the Red Sox, and A-Rod did that. He was going to be out at first base, and he swatted at the glove to knock the ball free. A-Rod. Anyway, I think that's what they ruled. Was that Doty hit the third baseman's glove and knocked the ball out. Josh Geraldo, people bashing Jay Johnson are annoying. I say this, if he finds offensive output from our catcher position, he's a flat-out hero. I'd like to remind you yet again that here's a question I'll ask. Name a catcher that is a dominant offensive player. It's rare, even at the next level, man. It's rare to find Buster Posey. It's rare to find Mike Piazza, right? Typically, catchers are in there to manage the pitching staff and contribute what you can offensively. It's rare to find a great offensive catcher. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's rare. So I don't need my catcher to hit 280. I just need him to be competent at the plate and have productive at-bats, even if that's, sack fly, move the runner over, work a count, 10 pitches, whatever. I don't care. Just have a productive AB. I got enough hitters in this lineup. I don't need my catcher to hit 300. Michael Castello, also impressed with the patience and aggressiveness at the plate. Crucial to them being successful. Let's see. Taz, should the Saints put some focus on kicking and special teams? Our regular kicker is coming back, but even last he played with wasn't pretty. You know what, Taz? It is interesting, right? Like, Will Lutz had an amazing start to his career, and then really did struggle last year. But no, I'm good with Will Lutz, man. I think he's fine. And obviously, Gillikin, moving as hard as it was to see Morstead go, moving on to Gillikin was the right decision. Let's see, Brandon Cortland, they've hit like 70 doubles as well. Size of the park doesn't matter there. Are you talking about, you must be talking about Tennessee. Robert Cooley, man, I'm behind on comments. My apologies, y'all. By the way, if y'all are patient with me, I'm going to get to all of you, just like on Nightcap. So I know sometimes, like, because I'm jumping back and forth, Facebook, YouTube, I get a little delayed on the comments, so I apologize. 145 on YouTube. That's awesome. 32 likes. Could we please smash the like button? I'd appreciate it. 67 hanging out with us here on Facebook. Love that. Mark Gay, Stevenson, Latuso, good morning. My husband wants to know what's up with Beloso. Beloso tore his ACL. He is taking BP and might be able to return to hit at some point this year. Might. We don't know yet. Glenn Crowdis, could that game get this team back to the team we think they can be? Glenn, I think so. And again, not just because of how they pitched it or hit it. I want to be clear. Like, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, because in baseball, it's why I love baseball. Every day is a new day. I mean, what you saw Friday and what you saw Saturday were the same two teams with dramatically different results. That's why I love baseball. Like, the next day is a new day. What happened the day before doesn't matter at all. It's a completely clean slate. Excuse me. But the thing that I think can carry over again was the energy. Like, you heard the team in the dugout the entire game. They were engaged. They were chanting. Like, they were on the pitcher for Florida when he would throw a ball. Like, you could hear when LSU scored a run. It was like, whoa. Like, it was just, listen for it today. I mean, it sounded like, at times, an LSU home game. It was stark. And I texted Musso last night, because I watched the games. I haven't been to the box yet this year. I watch them all, but I haven't been. I was like, hey, man, have the players been doing those chants in the dugout at the box, because I'm wondering if maybe just like the TV broadcast at the box doesn't pick that up. He's like, no, it's the first I've heard it all year. I was like, I'm telling you, something after that loss Friday sparked him. I don't know if Jay railed him. I don't know if it was a players only meeting, what they internally decided, but the energy from the team yesterday was just different. It was just different. It was obvious. It was, you could hear it, like literally hear it. You carry that throughout the year? Yeah, man. That's awesome. That was the most encouraging thing. Billy Davis, last night's approach to the players, I feel like this coaching staff has been promising. You know what, Billy, I agree with you. But the strangest thing about it is, like, as a coaching staff, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a real example, okay? Something I wouldn't have said last year during the season. When I tell you, you'll understand why. When LSU played the regional in Oregon, the first game they played in that regional, I forget who the pitcher was they're facing, forgive me, so this just popped into my mind. But all they worked on, the coaching staff, was go the other way. You got to go the other way against this guy. You got to go. Everybody, just there. He's going to stay away from you. You've got to just be willing to take what you get and go the other way, and especially in that park. I forget why, maybe it was wind or something like that. It was like go the other way. They worked on that, like going into that first game. Almost that was the message they hammered into him. And if you watch a game, every hitter on LSU's team dead pulled everything. They did nothing that they were taught. So, as a hitting coach, you can't go into the batter's box and do it for them, right? You can give them a plan, but it's on them to go up into the batter's box and execute it. And guys don't always do that. So maybe this is one of those instances last night where we've waited for a month now to see this team execute the plan that this staff has the first time the staff has ever really, or maybe this is the first time this team, it's like what the staff is teaching them is marinated. Let's see today, right? But it was encouraging. Yeah, Rode Ewell said Thompson made a great play at second off the ball off Gervais's glove. He did. There was a ball, Gervais was in, it was hit to the right side. Gervais kind of lunged for it, went off his glove, and Thompson had to charge and redirect and make a throw. He did. Thompson, yeah, it was literally a flawless day. Nobody made an error. Well, with the exception of the wild pitch, which was really past ball, but anyway. John Malonson, good morning, Matt. How's Drew? He's good, thanks, man. Still recovering from that broken arm, but he's good. Happy little kid. Kenneth Westbrook, good morning. Let's see, Rode Berry has looked better at third than any other options played there so far. I'll put to you this way, and it's a good point, because I'm not going to say that Berry has played a solid third, because he hasn't. But Merrifield was the JUCO National Defensive Player of the Year last year. You would expect him to come in. If he were playing a flawless third base, then I could make the case to put him in there. But he's not. So, I'll point this out again. The play that Trey Morgan made last Sunday down the third base line, the first base line, when he slid, caught the ball backwards, sort of underhand to the second base, that play was only necessitated because Merrifield couldn't make the throw, charging a chopper behind the mound, 3/4 of the way across the diamond to first. I could make that throw. I could today make that throw. Now, pressure situation, I get it, all that stuff. But, you got to be able to make that play. So, I agree with you to that end. Kyle DeVille, good morning. Sean Gasser, haven't seen Edwards pitch much lately. I'll tell you this, Sean. That's another guy that when, as we've talked about, they're looking for guys that look different, that give a hitter something, change an eye level, change a slot, something like that. Edwards kind of has that whip-like action. He's got a different release. That's one guy that I wouldn't be afraid to give the ball to and say, go get me 3 outs. Kyle DeVille, let's see, Brant, living up here in Knoxville, ugh. I'm going to have to deal with more Tennessee lips since Tennessee's relevant in baseball. They are good. They are. Let's see, Kyle, I've been seeing a lot of videos on Facebook about LSU spring, Coach Kelly meetings. The dude is running a tight ship. I can't wait. I believe he will turn LSU around. He will, Kyle. I mean, Miles Brennan, I think Jacques posted the video, so shout out. Miles Brennan, when he met with the media yesterday, said something to the effect of, if you're late, you're late, and there's consequences, no exceptions. Like he's running a tighter ship. And when you hear that, you're like, well, yeah, but the contrast goes to show you what it was like, or wasn't like, under Ed Ogeron. And that's the problem. Here you go. Here's the quote. There's no pushing something to the side. If you're late, and you're going to pay the consequences. We all have to be accountable to each other. Like, that's the point. Like, when your sixth-year quarterback is telling you, when you're late, there's no exceptions, there's consequences, it goes to show you what a contrast that was to a year ago, where they were an undisciplined team and they weren't well coached. And I mean, I know every time we talk about it, it seems like I'm just bagging on Ed more, but like the more these guys are removed from it and the more open they are, they're telling you all the things that I was trying to tell you for years, which is they lack discipline. Ed didn't know what he was doing. It was a mess. Internally, the culture was bad. Y'all just thought I hated Ogeron. I was just telling you honestly. Hey, bud. Okay, buddy. Got it. Good job. Hey, you want to say hi to Dad Show? Huh? Drew, you want to say hi to Dad Show? He's walking away going, hi, Dad Show. All right. Shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Beauty Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Need a roof? Holler at Hudco. HudcoRoofing.com. There's a lot of bad weather that came through last week. Still certainly, by the way, while I'm thinking of it, man, if anybody does know of any relief or recovery efforts or organizations down in Araby and St. Bernard, the parts of Tangipahoa that were affected by the tornadoes last week, let us know. I mean, I'm more than happy to help get behind and promote something with whatever resources I can to help. With some relief efforts, whichever we can. And I just pinned the HUDCO website. So if anyone needs a you need a roof inspection, I'm happy to do free no obligation roofing inspection. HUDCORoofing.com, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, HUDCORoofing.com. Okay, let's see. Well, sorry, I'll try to find where I was. Larry Gardner said, Matt, morning, how about a morning jingle? Okay, here you go. Here's 30 seconds of HUDCO goodness for everybody.
HUDCO Roofing! HUDCO Roofing! When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio.
All you need is HUDCO.
HUDCO Roofing! HUDCO Roofing! Call HUDCO Roofing!
364-1007.
All right. Let's see. Michael Costello, if they win today, it changes the perceived narrative on this team. Hey, I want to remind you, last year LSU started 1-8 in the conference. And they were 2 wins away from Omaha. So long season played out. David Wallace, good morning. Tigers found their bats yesterday. Yes, sir. Rob, I know it can't happen today. We need to start Vit one time. I disagree. Meyer out of the pen is fine. The role he is, and he's actually done well this year. Most guys who are fifth-year guys don't find it in their fifth year, but veteran guy like that, who everyone has tape on, has really pitched well when he's had his opportunities this year. Hope he starts Dutton, a.k.a. Yellowstone. I don't really get the Yellowstone reference, but okay. Cortland, Merrifield's fielding 100 points lower than Barry. Hasn't been hitting well. Fewer chances, but yes, but you're right. Michael Costello, Gervais, but that's the point. When you get your opportunity, make it a no doubter, and he hasn't. That's true. Costello, Gervais, and Vitt came in, shut the door. How long has Vitt been here? Should be working on his PhD by now. Yeah, he's in his fifth year. Taz, are the Pelicans a top 8 team next year with a healthy Zion? In the West, yes. Healthy Zion, B.I., C.J. McCollum, yes, they are. I mean, I think they are a contender in the West with those three. I think that's as good a big three as anybody has. A dominant big, a long athletic wing, and a guard that can get you a bucket whenever you need it. Yes, I think that team is very close to being, and their culture is great. You've got two really elite defensive pieces with Herb Jones and with Jose Alvarado. I mean, I've said this before. Herb was Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC. Jose was Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC at Georgia Tech. I mean, two dudes that are absolutely bought in on the defensive end, difference makers, can steal you possessions. Yeah, I mean, I like this team a lot. I do. Jared DeLuck, you see the Texas Tech player who stole home? I did. Oh, and he was the same guy who hit the walk-off? Wow. So Texas Tech hit a walk-off grand slam last night yesterday to beat Texas 16 to 12. It was on mute. I didn't realize it was the same guy. What a weekend. Dat, Cage, and Zion will not play another game for the Pelicans. Get that out of your head. You want to bet? They're not trading him. And he can only sign his rookie max with the Pelicans. So why would he pass on a $200 million contract? Zion is re-signing with the Pelicans. He is. Chance, what about Fondo starting the season? Man, they toyed with that idea during the offseason, but I think what we've heard Jay say is he likes Fontenot in high leverage situations. So I'm good with that. I'm good with a guy that's been in pressure situations in big time games, taking the ball and getting outs. It doesn't work every time. It's same in the pros. I mean, you watch the best closers in baseball. They blow saves. I mean, it happens. But anyway. Let's see, Taz. Matt, is AFR a franchise podcast? I look you guys up on iHeartRadio. There was like 6 AFR podcasts. If not, you may want to get copyrighted. No, I don't think we can copyright AFR. And there's like a lot of people use that. There's a lot of shows and podcasts and blogs and all kind of stuff called After Further Review. It's what it is. I'm not worried about it. Dad Cajun, let's not get overhyped over one win. I'm with you, but the point that I made is it's not so much about Hilliard Day or a clean defensive performance. It was the energy around the team yesterday, which was different. And if that remains, then I do think this is a fulcrum moment. This is a turning point moment for this team. I truly enjoyed that we beat the brakes off them in front of a record crowd. Let's see, Michael. We could be playing Florida in hopscotch. I want to beat the mess out of them. Morning Scone. We keep it clean on Morning Scone. Dave Endur had 4 hits on Friday, 2 by Barry. I said 2 hits, 4 hits. That's right. They had 2 off the starter. Keaton Berry and let's go LSU, because that's right, because Travinsky homered at the end of the game. Let's go. LSU is leaving Gainesville with a 2-1 win, and Big BK Bulger has the football team working, getting ready for 9-3, maybe 10-2 season. Keaton, I'm no longer going to say Big BK Bulger because that just sounds disgusting. So you're the only one that does it, and I'm not gonna say that anymore. Love the energy, but I'm not gonna say that anymore. Dave Vinder, Milazzo was improving dramatically after getting with Dylan's hitting coach, wiping out a knee hurt. Yes, he was definitely improving offensively. He was going the other way. He was cutting down the strikeouts. Yes, I agree. Khalil Autry, would you like to see Emmanuel Sanders back? At the right price, sure. As a number 2. Rob Boudreaux, baseball's such a weird sport. Shouldn't we expect everyone to hit? It's funny how some positions we just don't care if they can hit. Maybe it should be like football, have 9 on D and 9 at the plate. No, Rob, I think it's worked for about 150 years the way it is. It's okay. You just understand that, like, there are certain players, like, not everybody's Mike Trout. Not everybody's a 5-tool guy. So when you see them, you pay them $400 million in a 10-year contract. But not everybody is that guy. So you look for strengths. If there's a premium defensive position, then I just want that guy on the field. Catcher, center field, middle infield spots. Like, Omar Vizquel wasn't a great offensive player, but he's arguably the greatest defensive shortstop of his era. So he was always going to be in the game. Keaton Berry, do Friday night pitchers only pitch on Fridays? I apologize if that's a dumb question. It's my first year ever getting into baseball. I never played like it until now. Played or liked it until now. No worries. So it's not the only day they throw, but it is the only day they pitch if you're a starter. So you have a starting rotation where your guy goes on his day, and then the rest of the week is recovering and building up to that day again. Because if you go through 100 pitches, typically you'll have a recovery day, you'll have a soft toss day, you'll have a flat ground, a bullpen, and you sort of ramp back up to Friday or Saturday to your day to pitch again. But yes, typically when you start, you only pitch on your day. Reed Rule, is Thompson at second base going to be permanent moving forward? I don't know that I would say permanent, Reed, but I mean, Jay Johnson said after the game yesterday, it worked, we're doing it again today. So I'd say you keep doing it as long as it keeps working. And if it doesn't, then you reassess. He's learning his team too. So, future baseball question, how's the Priester kid as a defensive catcher? Good. I'll be curious if they get him here. That's a kid from Live Oak, right? I mean, he said he's going to attend LSU instead of junior college. And my understanding on him was, and I'm thinking back to the summer when it happened. So he was a kid from Live Oak. Was expected to be, he thought he was going to be a first-round pick, was going to sign. Didn't get his number. And then Jay got him on campus. And in like one day, convinced him to spend I mean, that kid went from, I am going to play pro baseball, to, I'm going to spend 3 years at LSU. In one day with Jay. So was that emotional time? We'll see. Does he actually show up? Does he end up going JUCO? I don't know. I don't know. But that would be awesome if you get him here. That would be phenomenal if you get him here. Keaton, I pray Hilliard doesn't see the mount tape. No, Keaton, Hilliard's not going to pitch. He threw 100 pitches yesterday. He won't throw again until next week. Let's see. Chris Davis, early appearance in the league. It's Tennessee. Everyone else. Vandy loses series to South Carolina. Arkansas lost to Missouri yesterday. Um, wow. Um, yeah, everybody loses games and everybody loses series. That's why overreacting to the result of last weekend with A&M was, oh wow, was not. Um, I want to say not smart, but and you play 30 games. You play 30. You got a long, long season. That's why you can't react to one game the way you do one football game. So, or one weekend. So, you go play it out. I mean, they go win this series, it effectively cancels out your series loss last week, and then move forward. See if you keep figuring it out. Renee Tubes, Kelly sounding more in control of the first 2 minutes of the last press conference than O did the 6 years he was here. It's so funny that everybody is saying now the things that I said the entire time he was here. Hey, babe. Murder Giraffe, yo. Dave Van Der, gotta say, thankful for Hudco coming out, fixing the leak around my chimney when 2 others couldn't find it. Boom. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. We do not only roof repairs, but we do roof replacements, but we do roof repairs, gutters, soft wash, do it all. So you got an issue with your roof, holler at Hudco, hudcoroofing.com. Dave, you don't watch Yellowstone? That's un-American, LOL. Dutton Ray. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea. So I don't really watch TV that's not live sports, like for my job. The only series that I watch, Erica and I have watched Curb Your Enthusiasm since it first came out. We were dating when it first came out, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we watched Curb, and my guilty pleasure obsession is $1 Million Listing on Bravo. I think that's so fun to look at those $30 million homes and how much people pay for them. It's just crazy. So there you have it. That's what I watch. Everything else that people talk about, if you try to have a conversation about Yellowstone or The Wire or any of those shows people talk about all the time, I never even saw Sopranos. What's the matter? Chris Davis, huge game tonight, Pels Lakers. I agree, Chris. I am not optimistic. I hate to say that, but second of a back-to-back, and the Lakers have had 4 days off, and LeBron didn't play in their last game, so he's got 6 days rest. It was just very obvious the Lakers were resting for this game because they knew the importance of it. I just and the Pels blew it. I mean, they blew it yesterday. They blew it. I mean, they beat the Spurs in San Antonio by 40 last time out, and they just gagged that game away late yesterday. That was disappointing. The loss yesterday was very disappointing. Anyway, so I'm hopeful for tonight with the Pels against the Lakers. I think the atmosphere in Smoothie King Center is going to be friggin' bonkers. 6 o'clock tip tonight if you're interested. The Pels are a slight favorite, but I am not optimistic about this ballgame. Just because Pels are playing the second of a back-to-back. Lakers haven't played since when they lost to the Sixers on. They lost to the Sixers on March 23rd. So what date was the 23rd? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? And then and LeBron didn't play in that game. So LeBron has had a week off. So it's anyway. I'm hopeful for tonight. I think that the atmosphere in the Smoothie King Center is going to be the best all year. Just not super optimistic about this one. Hey, bud. What do you want? What do you want? Use your words, please. Use your words, please. Use your words, please. Okay. You want to say hi, Dad, Joe? Okay. Yeah, well. So I shout out to Brock, y'all. Batters Orthopedic Clinic. Need an orthopedist? Go to Brock. They're the GOAT. Kyle Gallo, good morning. Craig Dugas, Scone, I'm thinking of heading to Cabo for spring break just to walk around restaurants shirtless and intimidate college kids. Jesus. Thank God he's not any of our problem anymore. Let him go do whatever he wants. Patrick Cason, Matt, I know it's a mute point. I really miss your baseball campaign shows. Thank you, Patrick. By the way, you know, like I can't, it's my thing. It's a moot point, M-O-O-T, moot. But I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I wish I could. I wish I could just not pay attention to that, but I do. But yes, I miss them too, Patrick. I had a lot of fun doing those. I loved I love getting to spend time with all of y'all, and you know, when all of our friends would jump on, I loved it too. I love the companion shows. Hopefully, they'll be back in some form at some point. Caleb Gandy. Brant, did Ogeron get Waylax after the Natty? He was Waylax from the day he showed up here. He just, y'all, he inherited a mega talented roster. Forrest Gumped his way into Joe Burrow. They won a title with nothing to do with anything he did. Like, I mean, anyway. Thoughts on Winston signing? Any news on AK? Nothing on Kamara. I guess you're asking about off-field issue, with the arrest. Nothing there. And I'm perfectly good with the Jameis signing. I actually think they lucked up because the market had cooled so much. Having you signed to a 2-year, $28 million deal, I think is actually a bargain. So you take him this year, and you just look at if he's awesome this year, then you re-sign him to a long-term deal next year. If he stinks, then next year you go into the offseason looking for a permanent replacement. I think it's a great scenario for the Saints. I do. There you go, Patrick. You already had it. You already had moot point. I saw the comment. My bad. Bernard, morning, Matt. Does HUDCO install faucets along with gutters? Need those two for our business in Houma. Faucets, no, but we can absolutely do your gutters, man. Bernard, Bernard, do this. Click the link that I have pinned. Fill out the contact form. That's the best way, because when you're on the contact form, you're automatically in our system. So fill out the contact form, and just write what you need. And I mean, I don't know. Let our construction manager figure that out. But that'd be great. All right, Merrick, help me understand something. If the Lakers don't make the playoffs, the Pelicans get the lottery pick. So it's not if they don't make the playoffs. It's if they finish. So the Pels, when they sent the pick, it was top 10 protected. Meaning, if the Lakers ended up in the top 10 picks in the draft, the Pelicans get that pick back. The idea, well, the Lakers would do that is, well, they're getting Anthony Davis, and like they're going to be good, and yeah, okay, it'll be top 10 protected. We're not going to be that bad. Well, they're that bad now. So there's a possibility that the Pelicans could recoup that pick, which would be awesome. So it's not about the Lakers making playoffs. It's about Lakers being in the bottom 10 of the NBA. So look at the overall NBA standings, which would basically be the draft, right? The draft order. And right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The Pels are ninth. The Wizards are 10th. The Lakers are 11th, tied with the Wizards in the loss column. So, but the Lakers are a spot ahead. So you just need the Lakers to keep losing. That's all that matters. You need the Lakers to keep losing. The Pels could do themselves they play twice against the Lakers. They could do themselves a massive favor if they beat the Lakers twice. Not only because obviously the Pels trying to get the 9 seed and host the play-in, but also they could push the Lakers down. Well, that explains it. Okay. Brandon, bet, Matt, baby. Wonder what Dwayne and Thibodeau is doing. I don't care. Punk. I put him in a friggin' headlock if I ever saw that jackass. Cortland, Keaton starters typically pitch once a week. Oh, God. Okay, you're all playing Keaton. We will see plenty of freshmen from Alabama today, right? What do you mean? Oh. You're talking about the freshman pitchers. You're talking about, yes, Sutton and Taylor. I think Taylor's going to start. The game's an hour away. They start at 11 a.m. Central. I'm just trying to see if he's named a starter. I mean, I'm sure he has at this point. I just don't see it. Just trying to see if Leah tweeted it. Sam Dutton's starting. There it is, 4 minutes ago from Leah. So Sam Dutton's getting the start on the mound for the Tigers. I'm okay with it. Dutton or Taylor, I'm good with it. I thought they'd go Taylor. I'm fine with Dutton. Give him his shot. I don't think we've seen Dutton start yet this year. Let me see. Come on. Let's see if Dutton started yet this year. I don't know if he has. I don't think he has. All right, let's see. Dutton has not 6 appearances, no starts. He's only thrown 9 1/3 innings. So again, he hasn't really extended either. So I'm curious. I'd be curious how much they get out of him. It may be a thing where like, hey, just give me 3 outs. Just get me. But I think we'll see Dutton and Taylor. The interesting thing will be after Dutton, who is next, and my guess is it would probably be Riley Cooper. Because he's going to want it to look different. Oh, yes, Bernard. We can do the soffits. You said faucets. Yes. Okay, we can do soffits. Yes. We can do some. I was like, faucets? I was like, what are you talking about? Faucets? You had me all thrown out. Yes, we can help you with that. Yes. I was, Bernard, when you asked if we could do gutters and faucets, I was like, that is literally the strangest request we've ever gotten, but let's see what we can do. Soffits, yes, we can help you with soffits. Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, there you go, John Mullen. So Ryan Slater is starting from Florida. All right, let's see. Let's look him up. Ryan Slater. 1.5, similar to Dutton. Let's see, he's got a 1.50 ERA. He has not started a game yet this year. So 8 appearances. So similar to Dutton. He's got 18 innings. 19 strikeouts in his 18 innings pitched. But again, this is a guy that's only pitched 18 innings in 8 appearances. So not a guy. let's see, his longest outing of the year so far. Okay, he did give him 5 innings against Alabama. So he started last Sunday against Bama then. Okay. So he gave him 5 against Jacksonville and 5 against Bama. Okay. So before that, he'd been a bullpen guy. Let's see, 5 innings last week against Bama. 2 runs on 5 hits, struck out 6, walked 2. Not bad. It's not bad. Against Jacksonville, 5 innings, no runs on 1 hit, struck out 2. So, not bad. Let's see, 6'3", 185. He's a righty, which I like because you can stack your lineup with lefties today. Jacob Berry gets a bat from the left side, which he's far better batting from the left side than the right. Joe Bear can be in there as your DH. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Dang, y'all, I'm so far behind on comments. All right, we got to catch this up here. Shoot, the game's going to start in less than an hour. All right. David Bowden, what's up with Dugas? Was sick last weekend, back, looked good last night. Taz, Eric Ebron still in the market. Would you like him at tight end? Sure, at the right price. They definitely need to add a tight end, though. ZJ9 is below, so definitely not coming back. No, he's taking BP and might be able to return to hit. Keaton Man said, sounds disgusting while absolutely refreshing to try and understand why I call him Big BK Bulger. James Whitey Bulger from Boston. Google him. You've already said that, Keaton. I don't care. It just sounds disgusting. I'm not calling him that. Cortland, Keaton, Hilliard started. Let's see. Taz, Pelicans have like 20 first-round picks. Wanted to offer 6 of them for Dame. I'm good with it. Do it. Reed Rule, Matt, are you riding with the Peacocks today? Hell no. I hate Cinderellas. I'm not interested at all. Let the big boys play. By the way, won a ton of money last night on Duke. Easiest call ever to win and cover. Arkansas is a nice team, but it's kind of a joke. They got the big dude, Jalen Williams, who is a flop artist. It'll never work at the next level. Note had to score 30 for them to have a chance. Duke had 5 NBA dudes on the floor at all times. Mark Williams is a problem. Same thing's going to happen today. I mean, North Carolina is going to run St. Peter's off the floor. It's an 8-point line. Lay the points. I'm telling you, lay the points. North Carolina will run them off the floor today. Let's see. Ask E-Rock. E-Rock's is in the bathtub. I don't think we're going to be able to pull off an Ask E-Rock today. Brandon, I know you're an Office fan. I am, Brandon, but The Office has been off air forever. Like, I'm not saying I never watched TV. I just don't now. When The Office was in production, I watched it. Yeah, all the time. I love it. I think I've seen every episode of The Office. That Cajun, I'll help the Pelicans. I'll bet against them. You do it, man. If that type of gree, if you believe in that, do it, man. Do it. We need it. Let's see. The only Yellowstone Matt knows is the whiskey. That's true. It's like you should try The Wire. People make recommendations for me for series to watch all the time. I'm not watching it. I have no interest. Like, I produce a ton of content and I watch sports on TV. When I'm not doing that, I'm with my family. Like, that's what I do. Like, I've spent 2 hours on my Sunday morning here, an hour and 14 minutes, doing this show. Like, I'd much rather be doing this than watching Yellowstone. To each their own. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying I would rather be doing this. Hey, bud. You turn the light on? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, babe. Let's see. Murder Giraffe going to Miami this upcoming weekend. All right, man. Look out for Coach O. He was down there. Got a call from a buddy who was in Miami on Friday. He said, you're not going to believe who I just ran into. I opened the door to a hotel. Coach O. Dude's living his best life. Merrick Mathern, Miss Coogan's Frogs. Yep, I do too. Travis Shaw, I think Dave Aranda had a lot more to do with 18 and 19 success than O did. That's absolutely true. And O ran him off because he was intimidated by him. David Durr, well, when you have to watch Bridgerton because happy wife is happy life, you cherish Yellowstone. Okay, don't know what Bridgerton is, but enjoy. Two net business, the best analysis of Coach O I've heard. I mean, two net business. That's been my analysis of Coach O since ever. A lot of people just didn't like to hear it, but when you know your info is good and you're right, eventually, invariably, the truth will reveal itself. That's what happened with Ed Ogeron. You'll realize, look, we're all grateful for 2019. Don't get me wrong. Like, people ask, I would still take all of the crap with the Ogeron era because we got 2019 out of it, and it was magnificent. So I'd take it. I'd still take it. But he was a disaster. And he will, in the history of college football, go down in the same breath as Larry Coker and Gene Chizik, because that's where he belongs. Report on Miles, hear mixed answers, good things. People tell me it's the opposite. It's 2 days of practice. I don't know what health-wise is good, if that's what you're asking. Let's see. Keaton, to say Coach O did nothing is blasphemy. He got Joe to sign, flipped Jamar Chase, recruited most of the kids on that team, fired Matt Canada, hired Brady as special teams coach. Okay, he also hired Matt Canada without ever meeting him. Joe Brady's role in 2019 is so massively overstated because it was Steve Ensminger that called the plays. The Joe Burrow opportunity only presented itself because of Bill Bush, who was on staff because Dave Aranda hired him. Dave Aranda was on staff because Les Miles hired him. Bill Bush had a relationship with Jimmy Burrow, which is how they even had the open door because Joe was going to go to Cincinnati. I will give Ed Ogeron credit for staying on Joe in that recruitment process. Absolutely, I will. But that door was only open because of Bill Bush, who's only here because of Dave Aranda. So if you try to paint it as Ed Ogeron was this mastermind who constructed the greatest roster, you're just wrong. Just wrong. Let's see. Is Coleman done for the year? Yes, Tommy John. All right, Dave, we'll see you, man. King Mo, who's your QB1 at LSU? Jaden Daniels. Keaton, Ed beat the draws off Kirby twice by 20, went 3-1 against Gus. Gus wasn't a good coach, and Ed had better players on a roster he didn't recruit. And thank you to Steve Ensminger, a guy who was on staff who Les Miles hired. Les Miles actually had a better eye for coaching talent. Les hired great coach. Les hired Ed. Les hired Ensminger. Les hired Aranda. Les hired Corey Raymond. I mean, Les assembled the staff. Ed inherited a great situation. And people say, well, a coach was fired. It's because Les couldn't get out of his own way. He had NFL dudes all over. That 2016 team where Les got fired, Leonard Fournette and Darius Geis and Darrell Williams were your running backs. And you had Clyde on that team as well. You had Malachi Dupree, DJ Chark, Russell Gage, Ethan Posick, Will Clapp, Tre'Davious White, Jamal Adams. Like, what are we talking about? Dante Jackson, Kendall Beckwith, Duke Riley. Y'all, that 2016 team was littered with NFL players. Les screwed it up. Like, I mean, people act like Ed inherited this awful situation. No, Ed inherited an NFL roster and great coaches. Les couldn't get out of his own way. It was Les's fault. Anyway. Let's see. Keaton, if you're trying to say that Ed made the hire of Brad Davis, you're outside of your brain. You are outside of your brain. Another topic for a different day because I'm running out of time because I need to get going and all this stuff. But if you think Ed Ogeron is the reason Brad Davis is here, you are outside of your brain. That was Joe Pa. We need a good back in my day story. I saw Joe Pa not too long ago. That's not Joe Paterno, by the way. That is Joey Painich, former LSU pitcher, Joey Painich. D.A. Matt is Keyshawn Butte.
Somebody in when you're done, because he keeps
Okay.
very needy right now, so as soon as you're done.
Is Keyshawn Butte's surgery something to be concerned about? Let's talk about him and Brian Kelly at odds. Well, Brian Kelly alluded to that a little bit during his press conference on Wednesday, but it's just a process. I mean, Keyshawn's got, look at what Miles Brennan said about being laid, like a different standard and accountability. When Ed was here, Keyshawn didn't have to do that. A lot of guys never hurt. They just weren't around the team. They weren't at practice. Like, there's an expectation that everybody's at practice and everybody's around the team and team meetings and everything. They'll get there. Everybody, if we keep Matt here, we can make this an unofficial companion show. Not likely going to happen, trivia. Y'all smash the like button, though. 137 still watching, only 64 likes. I know we can get that over 100 likes. Football question: is the staff good with the freshman? Diebert at place kicker. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Because the other kicker they had, I'm not talking about Avery Atkins. They had another walk-on. He left also. Yeah, shoot. He may be their only option right now. Elite Goods, heard you're going to be on with Hoodie Jube tomorrow. Yeah, man. He reached out and asked me to come on the show. Y'all, if people ask me to go on their show and I can make it work with my schedule, I'll always go on anybody's show. I mean, I'm happy to do that. It's a professional courtesy. People come on my show all the time. I'll happily go on people's show. So I don't care if you got 100 followers, 100 million followers. Like, somebody wants me to go on their show, I'll go on it for sure. So I'm looking forward to it, man. We'll chat tomorrow morning. Hey, babe. Let's see. Robert Bruce, what's up? All right, Keaton, we'll have that. Keaton, come back on Nightcap on Wednesday and ask me, and I'll give you that full story about Brad Davis, because it's the James Craig situation all linked in with it as well. But and even more than that, when you look at all of the things that happened with the coaching staff turnover from 2020 to 2021, and who the athletic director is, and anyway, long story. Butte is going to use an injury to opt out for next season. I don't think so, Dak Cajun. I mean, Keyshawn Butte has eyes on being a potential top 10 pick, first pick in the draft. He had a magnificent freshman year. Well, let me rephrase. He had a magnificent final 4 games of his freshman year and a magnificent start to last year before the injury. You have that injury. You have a second injury or second surgery. He's got to play. Like, he's got to go get back out on the field. All right, here's the LSU lineup. Travinsky's going to start behind the plate. Doty, Morgan Cruz, Barry Thompson, Joe Bear, Dugas, Gio, and Travinsky. So the only change there is Travinsky catching, which I like. I think Travinsky's a better defense. I don't think. Travinsky is a better defensive option than McManus. Let's see if we can hit the righty. Okay, y'all. I think we're done. Appreciate y'all so much. Craig Dugas. Nothing he did. You're telling me hold that Tyga and go Tygas out of nothing? Okay, fair enough. All right, we're done. Y'all have an awesome day. As always, shout out to Brock, the Badge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Wait, one thing real quick. I want to keep reminding y'all of this. Best of 225. Your boy nominated for Best Radio Personality. If you would vote, I'm going to drop the link in there. You don't need to be in Baton Rouge. You just need an email address. If you would, just click the link and vote. I'd appreciate it. I was nominated for Best Radio Personality, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, nominated for Best Radio Station. If you would click that link and vote, I would appreciate it greatly. Y'all have an awesome day. Go Tigers. Peace.